Bridge of Quiet Whispers. The old wooden bridge had stood for decades, stretching across the gentle river that wound its way through the little town of Everbrook. For most, it was nothing more than a shortcut between the marketplace and the rolling fields beyond. But for Emma, it was a place of memory, a quiet corner where her heart always seemed to wander. On a rainy afternoon 5 years ago, Emma had met Daniel there. She was caught without an umbrella, standing beneath the fragile beams, watching the raindrops fall into the river. He had appeared suddenly, offering half of his umbrella with a smile so warm it seemed to chase away the chill. They talked that day, about books, music, dreams, and the strange way time slows when two souls find a rhythm. From then on, the bridge became their place. Every Friday evening, no matter how busy, they met there. Sometimes they brought coffee, sometimes laughter, sometimes silence, but always, they brought each other. As months turned into years, their bond grew. Daniel would play his guitar while Emma sang softly, their voices blending with the sound of the river below. They made promises beneath the fading light, promises to chase their dreams together, to never let distance dim what they shared. But life, unpredictable as the river, shifted course. Daniel received an opportunity abroad, an offer too extraordinary to refuse. He hesitated, torn between his career and the girl who had become his entire world. Emma, though her heart ached, urged him to go. "I'll wait," she whispered, her fingers entwined with his. "No matter how long it takes, I'll wait here, on this bridge." For 3 long years, Emma kept her word. Seasons passed, blossoms fell like confetti in spring, summer sunsets painted the skies gold, autumn leaves crunched beneath her feet, and winter snow silenced the world. Every week, she returned to the bridge, carrying hope like a lantern in her heart. Letters came at first, filled with Daniel's stories of distant cities and restless nights. But over time, the letters grew fewer. Emma's faith wavered, yet her love remained. People whispered she was foolish, clinging to something that had surely faded. Still, she stayed. Then, one quiet evening in early autumn, Emma stood alone on the bridge, watching the last light dissolve into twilight. She felt the first sting of doubt heavier than ever, her heart whispering maybe it was time to let go. And then, footsteps. She turned. There he was. Daniel, weary from travel but with the same familiar smile, carrying the same old guitar on his back. His eyes searched for hers as if the world had been nothing but distance until this moment. "I told you," he said, voice trembling, "I'd come back. I just didn't know how long it would take." Emma's tears fell, not from sadness but from relief, from the unbearable weight of waiting finally lifting. She stepped into his arms, and the river beneath them carried their silence away. That night, the Bridge of Quiet Whispers became a bridge of promises kept. And for the rest of their lives, Emma and Daniel never missed a Friday evening there again. The Bridge of Echoes. The first time Emma saw Daniel was on a rainy afternoon in Prague. She was standing on the Charles Bridge, watching the raindrops ripple across the river. Tourists hurried by with umbrellas, but she stayed, mesmerized by the sound of rain on cobblestones. Daniel approached her, not with words, but with an umbrella he quietly held over her head. When she turned, his smile was calm, almost shy, and in that fleeting moment, the world around them blurred. They talked that day about small things, about the way rain made the city glow, about how Prague felt like a dream painted in stone. He was a traveler from London, she was an art student studying abroad. Their worlds were different, yet they fit together effortlessly, as if they had known each other before. What began as chance meetings, coffee at a corner cafe, long walks through narrow streets, sketching the same cathedral from different benches, soon grew into something deeper. Emma painted Daniel's face in her sketchbook without realizing it, while Daniel found himself writing letters he never intended to send, just to capture the way she made him feel. Time moved quickly, as it always does when hearts are caught in wonder. The more they shared, the more they feared the inevitable, the end of his journey, the moment when he would have to leave. They spoke of it only once, beneath the lanterns along the Vltava River. "Do you think we'll ever meet again?" Emma asked softly, her eyes reflecting the golden light. Daniel hesitated, then reached for her hand. I don't believe in accidents. If we're meant to meet again, we will. Somewhere, somehow. And then he left. The years that followed were quiet, but not empty. Emma graduated and returned home, her art carrying echoes of Prague, of rain, of the bridge where everything began. Daniel continued to travel, searching, perhaps without admitting it, for the same feeling he had once found in her presence. 5 years passed. On a crisp autumn morning in London, Emma walked into a small gallery. She had been invited to display her work, and as she wandered through the halls, she stopped in her tracks. On the wall before her hung a painting, not hers, but his. She knew it instantly. The way he had painted the river, the bridge, and the faint figure of a girl with an umbrella, it was her. Her hands trembled as she asked the curator about the artist. "He's here," the curator said. "Just arrived for the opening." And then, across the crowded room, she saw him. Daniel, older, perhaps, but unmistakably him. His eyes found hers as though no time had passed at all. The noise of the gallery disappeared. They crossed the room slowly, carefully, until at last they stood face to face. Neither spoke at first. Words seemed too fragile. Finally, Daniel whispered, "I told you, if we were meant to meet again, we would." Emma's smile broke through tears. And here we are. That night, they walked together through London's streets, the same way they had once walked through Prague. The years apart had changed them, but their hearts recognized each other instantly. Love, patient and quiet, had waited. And beneath the city lights, hand in hand, they knew this time, they were not going to let go. Whispers of the old bookshop. The little bookshop on the corner of Rosewood Street had always been Emma's sanctuary. Its shelves smelled of parchment and history, and its creaky wooden floor seemed to hum with stories waiting to be told. Emma, a quiet woman with a love for literature, had worked there since college. She found comfort in the steady rhythm of her days, cataloging books, chatting with loyal customers, and sitting by the window during rainy afternoons with a cup of tea and a novel. One cold autumn evening, as the golden light of sunset spilled into the shop, the bell above the door rang. A man walked in, brushing rain off his coat. He looked a little lost, his dark hair damp and his eyes thoughtful. He wandered slowly, as if the shelves themselves were calling to him. "Can I help you find something?" Emma asked, stepping forward with a warm smile. He turned, and for a moment, their eyes lingered. His were deep brown, with a kind of tired gentleness hidden behind them. "I'm looking for a book," he said. "But I don't know its name. Just a memory of it. My mother used to read it to me when I was young, something about a lighthouse and a boy waiting for his father to return." Emma tilted her head, already searching her mind. "That sounds like The Keeper's Promise by David Thorne. It's out of print, but," she hesitated, then smiled. "I think we might have one copy in the back." When she returned, she found him standing near the poetry section, tracing his fingers over the spine of an old collection. He looked up as she handed him the book, his expression softening in quiet gratitude. "Thank you," he said. "You've just brought back a piece of my childhood." And just like that, he kept coming back. His name was Daniel. At first, he came with excuses, buying old novels, asking for recommendations, browsing without buying. But soon, it was obvious he came for more than books. He came for the quiet moments with Emma, for the way she spoke of stories as though they were friends, for the warmth that seemed to fill the shop whenever she left. Emma, too, felt something stirring in her heart. Daniel was gentle, thoughtful, and carried a sadness he never spoke of. Sometimes, when he thought she wasn't looking, he gazed out the window as if waiting for something, or someone, that would never return. One winter evening, snow falling outside, he lingered longer than usual. They sat by the shop's fireplace, the world outside muffled in white silence. "Why do you love books so much?" he asked softly. Emma thought for a moment. "Because books hold pieces of people. Their dreams, their fears, their hopes. Even when people leave, their stories remain." Daniel was quiet, his eyes on the flickering fire. Then, almost in a whisper, he said, "My wife passed away 2 years ago. She loved stories, too. I think, part of me comes here because it feels like she might be somewhere among these shelves." Emma's heart ached. She reached out, her hand resting gently on his. He didn't pull away. Instead, he held on. From that night, their bond grew stronger. It wasn't rushed, nor was it a whirlwind romance. It was tender, like the turning of pages in a beloved book, slow, deliberate, full of meaning. Daniel began to smile more. Emma began to dream of a life where her days were not only filled with books, but with shared laughter, whispered secrets, and quiet companionship. Spring came, and with it, new beginnings. Daniel asked if she would join him one weekend to visit the coast, the very lighthouse from the book his mother once read to him. Standing there, waves crashing against the rocks, Emma realized she had fallen deeply in love. And when Daniel turned to her, wind in his hair and hope in his eyes, and whispered, "Emma, will you walk with me, not just here, but through the rest of this life?" She didn't need words. She simply took his hand, holding it tightly, knowing their story had only just begun.